If you're here right now, you won't want to scroll away because what happened next will make you believe that honesty, even from the most unexpected person, can rewrite someone's entire life. Stick till the end, and if this story moves you even a little, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because we tell real, powerful stories that remind you how one moment can change everything. It all started with a man named Adil Khan, a quiet entrepreneur who built his company from scratch. He wasn't born rich, but he had a fire that refused to die out. For years, he worked long hours, slept in small apartments, and lived off instant noodles just to keep his dream alive. Finally, after a decade of struggle, he stood on the edge of something huge, a deal with an international firm that could take his company global. But success attracts shadows. The investors seemed perfect, smooth, polite, offering numbers that dazzled. They wanted to buy 60% of Adil's company for a fair price, but hidden deep in the documents was a clause that would give them complete control of everything he built. He didn't see it. Not because he was careless, but because they made it look beautiful, filled with friendly smiles and promises. The day of signing came. Adil walked into the luxurious hotel lobby where the meeting was set. Everything smelled of money and power, glass walls, gold lighting, and expensive perfume. The investors waited upstairs, but before heading up, he stopped by the coffee shop near the entrance. He needed caffeine to calm his nerves, or maybe courage. That's where it happened. The cashier was a young woman named Sarah, barely 22, working double shifts to pay her college fees. She noticed the folder of documents in his hand as she handed him his receipt. It had a label, Equity Transfer Agreement. Something about it caught her eye. Her father had once lost his business because of a deal like that. The investors took everything. When she saw Adil's anxious face, something in her heart said, "Warn him." But who was she to interfere in a rich man's business? Still, her gut screamed louder. "Sir," she hesitated as he turned to leave. "Can I just say something? Please don't be offended, but are you selling your company?" Adil looked at her surprised. "Yes, why?" Sarah swallowed. "Be careful. Sometimes those contracts aren't what they seem. My father, he lost everything because he trusted people who smiled too much. They tricked him." Adil smiled politely, but there was something sincere in her tone that made him stop. "What do you mean?" She looked around, lowered her voice, and said, "They're trying to trick you." That line, simple, desperate, honest, echoed in his mind. For a reason he couldn't explain, it made him pause. Instead of signing right away, Adil decided to read the agreement again while waiting for his meeting. He called his lawyer, who was running late, and asked him to double-check the terms. What they found left him frozen. Hidden under clever legal wording was a clause that would make him lose everything. The moment he signed, the investors would become the full owners, and he'd be left with nothing but his name. He couldn't believe it. He felt his stomach twist. He had almost handed away his entire life's work. He walked into that boardroom, calm but burning inside. The investors smiled, confident. "Ready to make history, Mr. Khan," one of them said. "Yes," Adil replied, his voice steady, "but not with you." He tore the signature page right in front of them. Silence filled the room. Their masks fell off instantly. The polite tone vanished, replaced by anger and frustration. He walked out free, shaken, but stronger than ever. A month later, Adil's company got a partnership offer from another firm, this time ethical, transparent, and fair. The new deal not only protected his company but expanded it beyond what he ever imagined. The first person he thought of was that young cashier. He went back to the coffee shop, and there she was, the same smile, same tired eyes. When she saw him, she looked nervous, maybe even afraid he'd be angry about her interference. But Adil just said, "Because of you, I didn't lose everything." She blinked, confused. He told her everything, how her warning saved him from a $1 million trap. Tears filled her eyes. She said she just did what felt right. Adil smiled and said, "That's what makes people like you rare." A few months later, Sarah got a call she never expected. Adil offered her a full scholarship for her education, and when she graduated, a job at his company. Years later, when reporters asked Adil about the miracle moment that saved his empire, he didn't credit a lawyer or a business move or luck. He said, "It was a cashier who told me they were trying to trick me. That day, I learned that honesty doesn't depend on position, it depends on heart." And that's the message I want you to take away today. Sometimes, the smallest voices save the biggest dreams. If this story touched your heart, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs a reminder that doing the right thing, even when no one's watching, can change lives forever. After that day, Adil's life began to change, not just in terms of money, but in meaning. He had spent years believing that success was about numbers, expansion, and recognition. But that single moment, a stranger's warning, made him realize that the world still had good people, people who cared more about doing the right thing than what they might lose for it. He couldn't shake the image of Sarah's trembling hands and earnest eyes as she said those words. "They're trying to trick you." It wasn't just a warning. It was a reminder that integrity still existed, even in the simplest corners of life. Months passed and his company flourished. The new deal opened international markets, and soon Adel became known as a man who built not just a business but a legacy of honesty. He introduced new policies in his company: fair pay, transparency, and support for young entrepreneurs. Every time he hired someone, he told them the same story about the cashier who saved millions with nothing but her courage. Meanwhile, Sarah's life was transforming too. With Adel's scholarship, she finished her degree in business administration. She worked hard. The same determination that pushed her to double shifts now pushed her to the top of her class. Her professors noticed her brilliance and her deep empathy, a rare combination in business students.